What's going on, guys? Your boy Mason here, back with another video, and in today's video, guys, we'll be doing the complete gear guide for the Slime Collaboration rerun. In this video, guys, we'll be going over LR Milim, Xion, and also Demon Lord Rimuru, Shuna, and the original 3 Slime Collab characters, and how you want to be gearing each of them. Before we actually hop into the video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, guys. We are on the road to that 50,000 subscribers, and yeah, turn on post notifications as well if you guys don't want to miss out on future videos. And with that out of the way, man, let's hop in and let's talk the 2 new characters first. So the one that I want to start off the video with here, guys, is going to be Xion. And the reason why I say Xion is the one I want to start off the video with is because I think she is a very flexible character, and I think she's the one that you guys probably want to know the gear on the most, since you're going to be rocking her in PvE content. What is going to be the purpose for this character? So if you actually look at the passive here for Xion, you can see that she has a bunch of other, allies, buffs, right? So allies damage taken decreases by 7% for each ally participating in the battle. That's really good. She has attack related stats for herself when an ally uses a single target attack skill. She gains basic stats for herself as well. And then she also gives allies critical chance and critical damage by 30 and 50% respectively. So you guys can see here that Xion is kind of a hybrid of a support and DPS character. She's able to do damage herself, which is great, but she's also able to buff the team. So with that being said, guys, this is a very flexible gear set you can run, but you can either run HP defense, or if we go to my JP free-to-play account, you can actually run if I actually click the gear icon, attack crit damage. So I think it's really up to you depending on where your account's at in the game. If you're someone that is on like a more free-to-play friendly account, guys, I think an attack crit damage set on Xion will be a little bit better, because then she'll be able to do a lot more damage for you specifically, right? If you're relying on her damage alone, then you definitely want to go with an attack crit damage set. But let's say you want to run her for mainly the buffing capabilities. Let's say you're just trying to get her on the team so that she's able to provide the damage reduction and the crit chance crit damage, then you definitely want to be running Xion on more of an HP defense set, as you want to keep her alive as long as possible. But for most PvE content, I think attack crit damage is going to be able to suffice, as she is a DPS character in her passive too, and so you're able to dish out a ton of damage as well, guys. And I think, either or for the gear sets, I think Xion is the most flexible character of this collaboration. You either can run HP defense because you want to run her more supportive, in a more supportive role, or you can run her attack crit damage and benefit from the support while being able to dish out a ton of damage as well. And for obviously the roles in the gear, guys, this is going to be for every Slime Collab character. None of them are going to be different than this, so I'm going to explain it here. So you're going to run HP percent on the rune and the belt. And then for the necklace and the earrings, you're going to run defense percent. And then for the bracelet and the ring, you're actually going to be running attack percent. And the reason why this is the case, guys, is this is going to give you the most amount of basic stats for the character. And in Grand Cross, basic stats is more important than getting, crit chance, crit damage, or resistance, or, crit resistance, whatever. HP related stats, like those are not as important as the main basic stat. And so that's why you want to make sure that whenever you're rolling your gear, make sure that it's all across the board, the basic stat, itself. So attack percent for the attack pieces, defense percent for the defense pieces, and HP percent for the HP pieces. And another thing too, guys, if you wanted to actually have a more flexible gear set that you can swap out for, then I would actually recommend making it in this manner, where you have the 4 set on the top and the bottom, and then the 2 set in the middle. And the reason why this is very nice and flexible for you is that if, let's say, you do make an attack crit damage set for Xion in the future, and you already have this HP defense set, guess what you can do? You can swap in the attack crit damage set, right? Like let's say like this was Xion's gear set right here. You can slap this attack crit on, and you could also swap the middle pieces here if I wanted to grab the defense pieces, and I can make attack defense, or I could make HP critical damage. Now, it's not something that you have to do. It's more so just nice so that you're able to swap the pieces. And another thing about that too is that you keep the really good stats on your your bracelet, your ring, and then your belt and your rune. And your middle pieces don't have to be crazy stat wise, because defense as a stat, guys, is not as valuable as the other stats in Grand Cross. I think HP and attack are a little bit more valuable than defense as an overall stat, but defense is still important to get. Alright, guys, so that's going to cover Xion right there. Let's actually move on now to Milim. Now, Milim, I think, is a more straightforward answer, and yeah, I mean, it really, okay, well, it depends again on the type of content you're doing. With Xion, we knew it was only PvE, right? So with Milim, it is going to be mainly PvP, and so because of that, guys, I would recommend an HP defense set. So you guys can see here I have attack crit damage. This is for my PvE Milim, that the one I had originally, with the original Milim that was available, and I have not made an HP defense defense set yet, since I don't know if I really plan on using Milim in gear PvP, but the only time you're really going to need a gear set for this character, guys, is if you're trying to use it in gear PvP. If you're running it ungeared, you're obviously not going to need gear at all, and then if you're running it in PvE, I think attack crit damage is the way to go. So if you're more of like a free-to-play player where you are really, you know, kind of focusing on PvE content and you're playing only ungeared PvP, then I think an attack crit damage Milim might be the move, just in that sense that you can deal a ton of damage in PvE content while also being able to be you know, viable in the lower tiers of PvP, you know, if you're running ungeared, or even if you do geared. I mean, attack crit damage on geared will still do really good if you're in that lower tier PvP where you can just kind of one bang everyone and then move on to the next, you know, next fight, right? So yeah, I'd recommend attack crit damage overall, even though HP defense is the better set at the end of the day for PvP exclusively. I think attack crit damage is going to get more value out of you guys, especially if you focus on the more PvE side of the game. So yeah, guys, again, in terms of the roles, it's going to be the exact same thing that I mentioned with Xion. So attack on the top pieces, defense on the middle, and then HP percent on the bottom pieces. And that's how exactly you're going to want to gear Milim. And the reason why it would be this situation is because Milim is a DPS character, guys. Attack crit damage is usually what you go with on DPSs, but if they're more like centered around PvP, then that's where DPS characters can still run HP defense and get away with it. But I do like to recommend attack crit for a lot of you guys, considering that Milim is still going to be a great PvE unit. You know what I mean? Even though she is, you know, more so centered around PvP, this passive is all content, guys. You can still run her in PvE content and she's still going to do really good. So I think overall, if you are planning to make a gear set for this character and you want to have it for everything in the game, including PvP, then attack crit damage is the way to go, because you're going to get more value out of this in the sense of that you're going to use it mostly in PvE, and then when you do go in PvP, you're going to be one banging everyone with an attack crit set. So that's going to be my opinion right there. I mean, you know, again, HP is going to be the highest ceiling for a geared PvP setting, guys, but for the general player, I think attack crit damage is going to be the way to go. Now, moving on to the LR Demon Lord Rimuru, guys, I'm going to recommend for LR Demon Lord Rimuru an HP defense set, because this character, even though he is a character that you would think would go like an attack crit damage set, because he's more of like a DPS oriented character, I don't think Rimuru at this point in the game, guys, can be considered a DPS with what he's doing, because he doesn't really deal a crazy amount of damage nowadays. I think what you want to kind of do with Rimuru at this point is kind of run him more support, where he's going to buff strip the enemies, and as long as he's alive, he can always keep that buff strip going. He also does have infect as well, which is going to be really good, and now it's actually flood infect, so it does a little bit more damage too. And you know, the abyss effect on the 6 out of 6 guys is going to be it's going to deal an absurd amount of damage. If you're lower dupe, even with an attack crit damage set, it's still not going to do a crazy amount. So I think overall, if you're planning on making a gear set for Rimuru, I would probably go HP defense for just a general set, but I think attack crit damage could be argued as well if you're focusing mainly on PvE content with this character. Yeah, I mean, if you want to run him for PvE content, definitely go with the, you know, with the attack crit set. But for PvP and the more supportive role Rimuru, like if you want to go support Rimuru in more PvE content, then yeah, I could definitely recommend the HP defense. And again, the actual like rules on the gear is going to be the exact same thing as every other gears that we talked about. So HP on the bottom, defense on the middle, and then attack percent on the top pieces, guys. So yeah, that's going to be LR Demon Lord Rimuru. Pretty straightforward. I mean, he's not like a super complex character. You just, you know, either more supportive role, you go HP defense, you go more DPS, you go attack crit damage. Alright guys, now moving on to Shuna here. In my opinion, guys, the best gear set for Shuna is going to be an HP defense set. And the reason why I say this is because Shuna is a more supportive character. We look at her passives here where, you know, you're decreasing unknown race allies damage taken. Her Holy Relic allows you to cleanse debuffs and you get Pierce Ray buff. She is a character that you want to make sure stays alive on the team. And so the longer she stays alive, the more buff potential you're going to get for your team. And so that's why I would recommend making an HP defense set for this character. So you guys don't see I have like an actual set for her, but, you know, let's just slap onto someone else's set and this will suffice. But yeah, no, HP defense is the way to go, because Shuna is going to be a supportive type character. Every time you're running a support character, guys, you have to prioritize that they stay alive. And HP defense is going to be the best way for a character to stay alive, as they're going to be able to tank the most amount of damage and stay alive as long as possible for your team. And so that's the idea here with this team. You know, you obviously have stun with this character. You have a heal card that's based on your attack, which would be good on like an attack defense set, let's say. You know, I know people might recommend that, but overall, the heal will still be solid on HP defense, and because you'll be able to live longer, you'll be able to get more heals off anyway. So I think that is more important too. So yeah, that's what I would say, guys, for Shuna. Just a standard HP defense set'll be the way to go. And yeah, you should have no issues with that. Again, same rules: HP on the bottom, defense on the middle, attack percent on the top, and make it in this manner as well if you want to be able to swap out the gear for an attack set. Alrighty, guys, now moving on to the final 3 characters, and I guess I'll include the Slime Rimuru as well. But yeah, the Blue Milim, I'm going to recommend an attack grid set for this Milim because she is a more demonic beast centered unit, because she's, you know, obviously she has a bunch of crit chance, crit damage in her passive. And yeah, I mean, she's a DPS character, guys, yeah, right? Like, you know, you're doing more damage, you get more crit chance, crit damage. She has a spike card, and you're only really going to be using this character in PvE content as, like, you know, on the deer, because she's an unknown unit. You can run her on, you know, Bird, and you can run her also on Skull and Hottie and stuff, and she's going to be great, you know. As a PvE unit, I think Milim is a very viable option for the blue slot. Like, if you need a blue for, like, you know, like deer or whatever, she's really, really good. And yeah, I would say, like, you're only really building this Milim if you are going to be building her for PvE and not PvP at all. And if you were to run in PvP, at that point, guys, I wouldn't even recommend it, right? So because of that, I'm going to go with an attack grid set for Milim because it's more so centered around PvE content. And because she's a DPS, you want to be, you know, building off of the fact that she's dealing a ton of damage. Let's do more damage with an attack crit set. And so that's why I actually went with attack crit on this Milim originally. And that's why I also moved that set on to my new Milim as well. And it's kind of the same idea with the new one too, right? Where, you know, I'm mainly going to be using her in PvE content, so why not just have an attack crit set? And I think that's the way to go. Again, guys, the roles are going to be HP on the bottom, defense on the middle, attack percent on the top, and then make the gear in this manner if you do want to be able to switch out the gear. Now, moving on, guys, to the Rimuru. So we'll talk Slime Rimuru and the other Rimuru as well. In terms of the best gear set, guys, HP defense, man. You know, this character is a support type character. We look at the passive right here. Allies heal 5% of diminished HP at the start of the allies turn. That means that Rimuru wants to stay alive. You want to make sure this guy stays alive so your team is healing, right? That is very, very important. And then also with the other Rimuru, he is a taunt character, right? So that means that you want to run this guy HP defense because you want to make sure that he's tanking while he's taunting up, right? The longer he stays alive, the better. And both the Rimurus in the game are going to be HP defense. It also makes sense too with LR Demon Lord Rimuru that you can move around the, you know, the HP defense sets and run it on any of the Rimurus really, right? Which is really good. So yeah, guys, I think overall HP defense is going to be the move for Rimuru in general, as most of them are supportive characters or tanks, right? Like this Rimuru's a tank. You know, the LR is more of like a supportive character nowadays, and even the other Rimuru, the slime one, is going to be a supportive type character. Yeah, and then again, the roles are going to be the exact same: HP on the bottom, defense on the middle, attack percent on the top. And yeah, just make sure you make it in this manner if you want to make like an attack crit set and be able to swap out the pieces. But yeah, guys, that is going to be the Rimuru gear sets. Now moving on to Benimaru here, guys. Benimaru, I'm going to recommend an attack crit damage set. And the reason why I say this is because I think for overall, if we're talking like Benimaru himself, he is a DPS character, guys. He does have ally support with debuff of support. You guys can see here at the start of the ally's turn, an effect is applied on all enemies that increases their damage taken by 40%, right? The hero increases the hero's damage dealt for each time this hero uses a skill. So he kind of has like a build up effect, right? He also applies the debuff on the enemies. So let's say you wanted to run Benimaru in that more like supportive role. You just want to get this damage taken debuff on the enemy, then you can run him HP defense. But generally speaking, guys, because of the fact that he's going to benefit from using more skills, and then even his Holy Relic here, he gains 30% attack related stats, and he heals 30% of the damage dealt when attacking. That means that you want to be attacking with his character a ton, and so I'm going to recommend an attack crit set for this character. He's more of a DPS unit. You're not going to use him in PvP as well, so you know, if you're going to be using him, is more likely in PvE. And yeah, I mean, in PvE he's going to be great. You know, you have the weak point skill as well, you know, so you're triple damage against debuffs, and you auto apply debuffs now in his passive, and then you also do have this defense related lower debuff too, so you could drop this and then into the single target, and this is going to do a lot of damage too, guys. So yeah, man, that's definitely what I'd recommend for Benimaru. And in terms of the roles, guys, same exact thing as every other character: HP on the bottom, defense percent on the middle, and then attack percent on the top pieces. And yeah, again, if you do want to make like another gear set for this character, you want to make an HP defense, make sure it's in this manner so you can swap the two pieces out and move them around as well. So there you guys go. Alrighty, guys, so that's going to cover the best gear sets for all these slime collaboration characters. Let me know in the comment section below if this video was helpful and you guys learned something. And with that out of the way, man, that's gonna be it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy, and we'll see you guys on the next one, man. Peace out. Have a great rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.